Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I learn. Benjamin Franklin said best, and it's the perfect way to open today's conversation. Welcome back, everyone. Today's episode goes straight to the heart of our core values: excellence, leadership, ethics, and professionalism. We're diving into a topic that shapes careers long before the first crown prep or the first practice purchase, and that is mentorship. And what is striking is that despite how essential mentorship is, research shows a significant gap. A 2022 Pan-Canadian study found that nearly 85% of dental students had not found a mentor, and more than three-quarters were not actively seeking one. Yet among those who did experience mentorship, over 53% felt their clinical instructors were genuinely invested in their long-term success. Other studies show that effective mentorship improves team culture, reinforces professional development, and even leads to better patient care.
And welcome to the Pillars Pod, where we explore the values that elevate dental professionals. Whether you're an ACD member, a dental student just starting out, or a seasoned practitioner committed to growth, this podcast is your space to reflect, recharge, and reimagine your impact. I'm Dr. Sonia Sluita, joined by my co-host, Dr. Syra Paradis. And today, we're thrilled to welcome someone who has quickly become a recognizable voice in the mentorship space, a young dentist who not only benefited from mentorship early on, but has stepped confidently into the role of mentor and national speaker. Athena, we're so glad you're here.
Thank you both so much for having me. It is wonderful to be here, Sarah and Sonia. We have connected over the past few years through SPIA at the University of Toronto chapter and have such admiration for the work that both of you do and how ACD continues to elevate ethics, professionalism, and leadership. This conversation has such a warm place in my heart because mentorship has genuinely shaped every stage of my journey so far, and it's truly an honor to reflect on that with both of you today.
We are delighted to have the opportunity to discuss this important topic with you. But first, I'd like to take a moment to tell our audience a little bit more about you. Dr. Athena Zhang earned her doctorate in dental surgery from the University of Toronto and is currently completing an advanced education in general dentistry program at the University of California. She has been active in research and leadership, co-authoring research posters, serving as the Student Professionalism and Ethics Association chapter president at the University of Toronto for 2 years, and receiving recognition from the International College of Dentists and the American College of Dentists. With her sister, Brianna Zhang, she co-founded Gifts That Smile, a community initiative that has delivered thousands of care packages to underserved populations. She also co-leads a dental mastermind group with Dr. Brett Kessler to mentor dental students and early career dentists. Dr. Zhang is committed to clinical excellence and to advancing the profession through leadership, mentorship, and community service.
Let's jump right in. That's quite a bio, Tina. That's amazing that you're here with us. It's very impressive. So you have built a reputation around mentorship in dentistry, and I want to start with something foundational. When you think back to your early days, dental school, residency, or even your first job, what was the moment you realized mentorship wasn't just helpful, but essential?
Thank you, Sarah and Sonia. The realization began when I started to see how much of dentistry extends beyond technical skill. So, dental school gave us the foundations, and I have to credit U of T's exceptional faculty for equipping us with the tools necessary to establish ideal tooth preparations and our clinical judgment. And what we learned was essential, yet you realize quickly that patients don't come to us as isolated procedures. Patients bring fears, expectations, medical complexities, and emotions that extend far beyond the dentistry itself. Communication and adaptability become just as important as technical skill, so I began seeking ways to develop them. I also wanted to provide the highest level of care for my patients, and that curiosity led me to pursue my UCLA's AGD program, which has been truly transformative for me. My very first case, I remember starting residency, it was a 5 unit implant supported bridge with a single crown, and it challenged what I thought I was capable from day one. My attendings guided me through complex treatment planning, implant dentistry, full mouth rehabilitation cases, difficult patient conversations, and so many moments of uncertainty. Every goal I entered residency hoping to achieve was delivered, and I could not thank my mentors enough for all of that. Then another kind of mentorship appeared outside of clinic. And those were the mentors that were opening doors to environments I never even knew existed. Some of the most meaningful lessons happened actually at various conferences across the country about how we can create impact on a broader scale. How exciting is that? My mentors introduced me to leaders, entrepreneurs, organized dentistry, and dental adjacent industries, all connected by the shared goal of improving patient care. They showed me that dentistry is not limited to the operatory. There are opportunities to contribute through leadership, mentorship, education, advocacy, and innovation, just to name a few. So now, nearing the end of my residency, I realized that what fundamentally changed my trajectory, vision, and values all came through mentorship. And my mentors helped me see a bigger vision for what dentistry could become, and most importantly, what role I could play within it.
I love hearing those origin stories because they really remind us that none of us get here alone.
And building on that, in your experience, Athena, what's the difference between a mentor and someone who simply gives advice? What elevates that relationship into something truly transformative?
That's a really good question that I feel like students should take some time to think about and ask more often. I would say that advice can often be transactional, whereas mentorship becomes more relational and eventually even reciprocal. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with transactional mentorship moments. I always appreciate when people are willing to answer questions, offer guidance, or make introductions. And I try to do the same for others whenever I can. But the truly transformative mentorships are built on shared values, shared vision, and mutual investment in growth. Those relationships evolve beyond occasional advice, going into ongoing conversations about ideas and goals that are specific to the mentee. And the mentors who impacted me most did not simply give me answers or hand me opportunities. They actually challenged the way I think. They asked the deeper questions. They encouraged me to enter new environments and pursue opportunities that initially intimidated me. Oftentimes, they saw what I was capable of before I even fully recognized it myself. And what I appreciate most is that the strongest mentorships become collaborative over time. There is reciprocal energy, excitement, curiosity, and discussion. My mentors were not only supporting me from the sidelines, but they chose to actively build and contribute alongside me to help elevate the profession together. That level of trust and genuine investment is what makes mentorship truly transformative. It inspires you not only to grow yourself, but also to create those same opportunities for others. And I highly urge dental students and early career dentists to seek those mentorships for yourself as well.
Now, dentistry has a steep learning curve, and the stakes are high, very high. Yet so many young dentists feel isolated or intimidated to even ask for help. Why, Atina, do you think new grads hesitate to seek mentorship, and what can we as a profession do to make that first step less intimidating?
Sarah, I think that many new graduates feel pressure to appear confident and capable immediately after graduation. Dentistry is a profession with real responsibility, and sometimes people worry that asking questions may make them seem less competent. But the reality is that every great clinician I've met still asks questions. They still collaborate and continue to learn, even decades into practice. And we should really normalize that. I also think that many young dentists feel intimidated entering rooms with people who have decades more experience than they do. And I know that I certainly felt that way many times this year during conferences and leadership events. There were moments where I wondered, like, what value did I even have to contribute? But my mentors told me to just show up and ask questions and share my passions. And they were right. As new dentists, we underestimate the value of our initiative, curiosity, and sincerity. As I started bringing my questions, sharing why I was there, and that I was just there eager to learn, I realized that many people are very willing to support younger dentists. And as a profession, I think we can normalize mentorship by creating more approachable and collaborative spaces for conversation, just like this. Organized dentistry, conferences, and study clubs do this well, but often the best mentorships happen outside formal settings. Sometimes it begins simply by introducing yourself after a lecture, or sitting beside someone at lunch, or following up after a meaningful conversation. Mentorship often starts much smaller and more naturally than people expect.
Those are really great insights, Athena. And I also understand that you've paid it forward by mentoring other students, new grads, and even peers. I am sure that some of our listeners, especially the dental students and recent grads, are eager for practical guidance. And given your experience, what qualities would you advise a young dentist to look for in a mentor? And equally important, what red flags should they watch out for?
Sonia, that is a great question. I would encourage young dentists to first reflect on the kind of life, career, and impact they hope to build. Mentorship becomes much more meaningful when there is significant alignment in values and direction. So think about what aspects of dentistry genuinely interest you. You can start to list out anything from clinical excellence, organized dentistry, leadership, policy, innovation, education, entrepreneurship, or access to care. For me, it is clinical excellence and making a greater impact on the profession. Once you identify those interests, begin putting yourself in environments that naturally foster those connections. And I would also suggest looking for mentors who are open to discussion, who are growth oriented and supportive. A good mentor should challenge you while still making you feel encouraged. They should elevate you without making you feel diminished. Some of the best mentors are also actively growing themselves. They are still learning, building, and evolving. And that kind of energy becomes so inspiring because growth begins to feel collaborative rather than hierarchical. As for red flags, I would say young dentists should be cautious of environments where there is strong misalignment in values or where the motivation of mentorship is not for the growth of the mentee. And that could be for a variety of other reasons. So, mentorship should feel respectful and growth oriented, and you'll start to be able to feel that. Conversations should feel open and collaborative, not one sided. And I would also like to add on that no single mentor can fulfill every role in your life, and mentorship should never feel overly transactional. Be open to conversations, coffee chats, phone calls, and naturally evolving relationships as they come along. Often, the strongest mentorships develop organically over time without anyone formally ever labeling them as mentorships.
Now, let's flip the lens for a moment, Atina. Many of our listeners are experienced clinicians, practice owners, or educators who want to give back but are not sure where to start. What makes someone a great mentor in dentistry? And how could experienced dentists step into that role without feeling like they need to have all the answers?
Of course. So, one of the most powerful qualities in a mentor that I've seen is authenticity. Some of the most meaningful conversations I've had with mentors involved hearing about cases that humbled them, mistakes they learned from, difficult situations they navigated, or challenges they experienced early in their career. That vulnerability creates such trust and depth. And as a young dentist, we really appreciate that humility because it makes growth feel possible and realistic. I also believe that mentorship is not only about transferring knowledge or clinical advice, it's also about leadership, ethics, professionalism, and how mentors carry themselves. Often, we learn just as much by observing how mentors navigate conflict and uncertainty. No one needs to have all the answers. Dentistry is evolving far too quickly for anyone to know everything. The most impactful mentors are often those willing to think through challenges and discuss emerging topics together and remain open to learning alongside younger generations. From the mentors I admire most, they are the ones that are open to listening to different perspectives and committed to mutual growth. I can tell you that one of the most empowering moments for a mentee is when they feel like they are also contributing meaningfully to the conversation. That is when mentorship begins evolving into genuine collaboration. Experienced dentists already carry tremendous wisdom and perspective, even if they sometimes underestimate the value of it. The profession advances when knowledge, ethics, and leadership are intentionally shared forward, and I really hope that we can continue building that culture. We are truly so incredibly fortunate to inherit this profession, so let's leave it stronger for future generations.
You are so right, Athena. And one thing I really admire about your message is that mentorship isn't just about clinical pearls. It's about leadership, ethics, and professionalism all wrapped in together. Those are big words, but they show up in small moments. Can you share a time when a mentor shaped your ethical or professional decision making in a way that still influences how you practice today?
For sure. So, one lesson that stayed with me was learning the importance of slowing down, listening carefully to patients, and prioritizing long term health over rushing to complete treatment, even when experiencing pressure from patients. My residency program does this exceptionally well because there's such a strong emphasis on quality, ethics, and comprehensive care rather than production. We're encouraged to take the time to create the best possible outcomes for patients. So I remember a specific time where there was one complex restorative patient who had been in provisionals for longer than ideal because of the financial limitations, and they required multiple bridges and crowns all throughout their mouth. So, like a full mouth complex rehabilitation. The patient understandably became frustrated and wanted to move quickly into permanent restorations because of how long things have been taking for their treatment plan. But my mentor emphasized the importance of returning to the fundamentals first. We spent time educating the patient about oral hygiene, gingival health, and the relationship between oral and overall health. We decided to refabricate all the provisionals and waited until the periodontal health was stabilized before moving forward. And although the process took longer, the patient's oral hygiene improved dramatically. And eventually, the patient began appreciating not only the dentistry itself, but also his overall health. That experience made me realize that while efficiency does matter, patients are often most concerned about the quality of their care and being genuinely taken care of. When patients understand the value behind comprehensive care, they're willing to commit to long term treatment rather than temporary fixes.
Thank you for sharing that story. That's a powerful story. Now, let's talk about the future. So, dentistry is evolving. We're talking about technology, patient expectations, business models, and even the culture of the profession. How do you see mentorship evolving over the next, let's say, 10 years? And what role do you think it will play in shaping the next generation of dental leaders?
Yes. If you know me, you know I love talking about the future. I truly believe that we are entering one of the most exciting eras in dentistry right now, with all these transformative changes happening. So, earlier this month, a couple weeks ago, I attended the Convergent Leadership Program at Harvard, where we discussed connecting the mouth back to the body, dental medical integration, salivary diagnostics, artificial intelligence, and how healthcare providers can collaborate more effectively to improve overall patient outcomes. Experiences like that fundamentally changed how I think about the future of dentistry. I think that mentorship will become an even stronger driver of innovation and collaboration. because dentistry is no longer going to be operated in isolated silos. Over the next decade, although the topics within mentorship may change, the foundations of trust and collaboration will have to remain the same. As for the role mentorship will play in shaping the next generation of dental leaders, well, we will be the determinants of that. Because from what I observed in these rooms is that younger dentists need a seat at the table as decisions about the future of dentistry are being made. The profession is evolving quickly, and I hope that more of us have the opportunity to actively shape those changes. I've seen young dentists with such immense drive, creativity, and passion to contribute meaningfully to our profession. But often we lack the networks, the resources, or opportunities to translate those ideas into action. And mentorship can help bridge those gaps. So that's one of the reasons why Dr. Brett Kessler and I founded a dental mastermind group for students and young dentists across the country. We wanted to create a collaborative space where people could discuss ideas, learn from each other, and build meaningful community. We hold virtual meetings every 4 to 6 weeks focused on leadership, mentorship, and emerging topics in dentistry. And whether you're a student seeking mentorship or an experienced dentist hoping to contribute, everyone is welcome. The link to join our group is in the bio of our Instagram at the Dental Mastermind.
What a wonderful initiative and step forward for the profession. Before we wrap up, though, I want to give you space to speak directly to our listeners, students, new grads, and even organizations who care deeply about the future of the profession. If you could leave them with one message about mentorship, something that they can act on today, what would that be?
Wow, just one message. Okay, that's a tough one. Let's see. So I would say that oftentimes the most meaningful growth happens in the least expected rooms. Okay, I'm going to say that again because it's quite important. The most meaningful growth happens in the least expected rooms. So for students and new graduates, do not be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. Attend the conference, ask the question, introduce yourself, and follow up afterwards. The most transformative mentorships often begin with one simple conversation. And for experienced dentists and organizations, never underestimate the impact of your encouragement. A small moment of guidance or belief in someone early in their career can completely influence their confidence and trajectory, as that has happened to me. I am deeply grateful for the mentors who believed in me, invested in me, and opened doors I never imagined entering. And I hope that I can continue carrying that forward for others as well. We are so incredibly fortunate to be part of this profession together, and mentorship is one of the most powerful ways we can strengthen it for future generations. Thank you both again so much for having me. It's truly been a pleasure to be a part of this conversation today.
And thank you, Athena, for sharing your insights and your passion for contributing to the profession through leadership. And I want to thank our audience as well for joining us today. And we invite you to continue following us on Instagram at ACD Ontario or on Facebook for updates on upcoming Pillar Pod episodes, one every month. And of course, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at ACD Ontario.
Adina, this has been such a refreshing conversation. Thank you so much for joining us. Truly, mentorship isn't just a nice to have, it is a professional responsibility and a catalyst for excellence. And thank you again for sharing your insight, your story, and your passion for lifting others up. And to our listeners, whether you're prepping for boards, navigating your first year out, or leading a practice, remember, mentorship is a two-way street. Seek it, offer it, and grow through it. Until next time, keep striving for excellence, lead with integrity, and stay committed to the profession that we all love. Thank you so much.